morning to you and welcome to the Front Page Review right here on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. My name is Gesiere Agoa. Good morning once again. We'll begin the segment this wonderful Monday morning with Who Said What. Pretty much we'll check out all the stories that made rounds over the weekend, and we'll try to find out who said what, something really important, something profound, or something that Nigerians should know about. At this point in time, it's the 4th of March 2024. Welcome to another week's broadcast. So let's start the story with the president. The president, over the course of the week, last week, had, in a Gbasgbos situation, had slammed NLC that they're not the only voices in Nigeria and they should strive for peace and not, try to brew these, talks of protests here and there. And, he also went ahead to say that Labour should try to run for they should get involved in politics in 2027. But in a rebuttal, the TUC have come out to make a statement concerning that. And also, we had Omoyele Sowore as well making a statement in response to the federal government. We get both those reactions and then we'll continue the conversation from there.
I listened to that comment yesterday where he said that we should wait for 2027 and if we want to contest for an election. For us, I could speak for Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. For us, we are not politicians. For us, we are unionists. It is the right to protest. Is the fundamental right of every single Nigerian. So we don't have issues with protest. People must exercise their rights and people must protest. So in terms of waiting till 2027 to enter into politics, I don't think that is something that we could dabble into, because I, as an individual, I'm not a Qatari member of any political party. What I'm interested in is the welfare of my members and indeed the entire Nigerian masses. So what the president said, for me, it is alien to us, because the right to protest and the right to strike is that of the workers, because there are condition precedents. The fact that you are going on strike or you are going on protest, there are things that have led to it. So those fundamental issues must be addressed.
That was a voice of the TUC chair, Festus Osifo, who made his comments on what the president had to say. Another interesting reaction that we got there was from Omoyele Sowore, who was also lending his voice to this particular line of discourse. Here's what he had to say about it.
Started plotting since, in fact, they practically hijacked Occupy Nigeria in 2012. That was where they started. When they wanted to come to power, did they wait 2015? They started plotting since, in fact, they practically hijacked Occupy Nigeria in 2012. That was where they started their political movement, the APC, from. And when did Jonathan come to power? I think 2011. Yes. So Jonathan had not enjoyed up to 9 months in power when Occupied Nigeria happened. So what is he complaining about? And where in the world did he read, they don't study, that democracy requires that you go and wait for election day? Opposition starts from day one. Whatever they are opposed to, they start opposing it, with ideas, physically, they engage in protest. France had over 6 months of protests, I think, in 2022. I think they are still protesting now.
This is the home of protest.
Exactly. So the US, you go to the US, people are protesting every day. There are people on the streets of US who are protesting against government. Some people go and protest against God. It's their fundamental right. Why would you now say that, the NSC should go and wait for 2027? The NSC already told you that they have hardship issues. Can that wait? You are paying, the only thing that's static since he came to power is the minimum wage. Every other thing, you met dollar at 700 naira, is now 1,600 yesterday. Before, in February, it got to 2,000 for 1 hour. Are you getting my point? You met fuel at how much? Is now at 650 or even more. There are places that are selling for up to 1,000. They met diesel at 950. Diesel is almost 1,500 across the country. So what are we talking about? So you want everybody to wait and die until 2027. But most importantly, it's also saying something that I think is important for everybody. Develop new voices. Because he no longer respects even the NFC. That's what he's telling you. And that's what I said when we started this conversation. The civil society movement in the country should also stop waiting opportunistically for a labor strike before we can strike on our own. We should be able to strike independently of labor. Let's flood the street tomorrow. He will know that there are real voices. Even this last labor thing, by the way, you know in Lagos was a joke. Police was distributing the
All right, that was the voice of Omoyele Sowore, who is a human rights activist and a politician as well. Well, really, really interesting conversations that we're having, as regards rebuttal towards the president. And in response to some of the hardships going on in Nigeria, we saw a little bit of a looting, going on yesterday. There were reports of a warehouse that was looted belonging to NEMA, and NEMA came out to talk about the fact that, this isn't our warehouse, but our hearts and our prayers go out to whoever's warehouse it is, whichever MDA it belongs to. Some of the reactions have been really, really crazy. Some individuals have gone ahead, in that particular looting. Hoodlums broke into the government storage facility in Gwagwa town. If we're live on YouTube right now, you can check out the video of the looting that took place in Gwagwa town within the FCT yesterday. Looted stored food items. Food items were actually looted. Some residents said that the youths in their numbers broke into the warehouse located around the Tasha area of the community around 7 a.m. looting bags of maize and grains. So we're wondering just what exactly is going on at the moment. Right now we're hearing that the warehouse doesn't belong to NEMA, however it belongs to the Ministry of Agriculture. We'll get more details as the story develops. We'll get more information to clarify whose warehouse it is. At this point in time, we have to mention that at 7:30 we'll be joined by El-Rufai to help us do a little bit of justice to the headlines. Keep it locked right here. I'll be back in just a moment.
All the big stories and what's behind them. Politics, business, sports, news. All on VOP 96.1 FM. Now you have a voice. News.
Breaking news on VOP 96.1 FM.
Sports.
The Greek god in Rome!
Business.
The exchange rate will begin to move towards its purchasing power parity value.
Health.
Help the patient as much as you can.
Politics.
Everybody knew that I was just managing.
I withdraw that statement.
Each day you open television, a weekend.
Let's be poor. Breathe. Security.
We're making some arrests already, and we can assure Nigerians that we are on top of the game.
And your voice.
But immediately they assume what is, but the story will change.
Talk of lights, talk of good road, talk of some other things.
Bad roads. Let's try and do something to it.
The Morning Ride. Weekdays from 6 a.m. Voice of the people. Now you have a voice.
Bye there.
Inakwana.
Good morning.
Ilahiala.
Ekaro.
Obohia.
Good morning.
Mewo.
Edio. Tuama. Heideo.
Good morning. Rise and shine. This is the Morning Ride. We have got an action-packed day ahead with headlines, sports, business, great conversation. Start your day right with VOP's Morning Ride. Weekdays from 5 a.m. Good morning. Good morning.
It's thrilling, controversial, heated, thought-provoking. Catch Rufai Oseni.
Came here to misrepresent the facts today as regards subsidy removal.
Kesire Aqua.
The report was that $9 billion is lost yearly to illegal mining.
And Simeon Sunday.
If you know something of this nature is happening within your community, why didn't you raise an alarm?
On the Frontpage Review, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. Now you have a voice.
Welcome back. This is still the front page review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. Good morning to you just joining us. My name is Gesere Agua. Please note that we're live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. Voice of the People Abuja. You can join the conversation right there. Send a comment, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the like button. Go ahead and send a message there. And at this point in time, you can also join our WhatsApp platform. It's at 0700 010 961 961. 0700 010 961 961. In just a moment, I'll be joined by Mr. Rufai Oseni. At this point in time, we've been hearing reports in the news about counterfeited naira floating around in the market, making rounds in the market. So you might want to be very, very careful. Just 2 days ago, the police arrested a couple and others for producing fake currencies in Lagos, Onikon, Lagos. The Zone 2 Police Command had arrested a couple, a former soldier and a printer, for allegedly producing fake currencies. According to NAN, the police paraded the suspects, including the couple, who are about 50 to 46 years old, at the command's headquarters on Friday in Lagos. So make sure that you are checking your monies rightly. To ensure that you're not holding a fake currency before you go and be waylaid on the road by individuals when you want to make payments or whatever. There are so many things that the CBN has used to ensure you can dictate rather if it's fake currency or not. So you can check out the serial numbers, you can check out the watermark, you can check out through a UV. You can check out with a pen as well. You can move and tilt the currency towards the light to see the transparency levels and all that. So try as much as you can to check and ensure that you do not have any fake currency handed over to you, or you in turn move around with fake currencies as well. Okay, it's really important that you check that out. The president in Qatar has made a statement. That's one of the biggest stories making rounds today. He said that reports any Nigerian official demanding bribes. This is what the president is telling Qatari investors. Reports any Nigerian official demanding bribes from you. Well, the President Bola Tinubu has asked Qatari captains of industry to report any Nigerian official who demands any form of bribe from before allowing them to do business in the country. He insisted that Nigeria would no longer be held back by its past dirted with bureaucratic bottlenecks and corruption that stifled the ease of doing business. Do not offer a bribe to any of our people, and if it is requested or taken from you, report to us. You will have access to me, Tinubu said at the Nigeria-Qatar Business and Investment Forum in Doha on Sunday. Good morning, Rufai, and welcome.
Bless you. Good morning. Bless you, Simon. If Simon's there. Good morning, guys.
Simeon is not here. He's standing in for a presenter on the afternoon belt.
Oh, okay. Guess it.
All right. How's your weekend, Mr. Rufai, before we get into the headlines?
A lot of tennis.
Okay, it's needed to keep active. It's very needed.
That's what I do. I play a lot of tennis. That's all I do.
All right.
Tennis field. Yeah.
All right, we're talking about the Nigerian president, Mr. Tinubu, who told Qatari investors to report any Nigerian official who needs a bribe, any form of bribery, before allowing the Qatari investors do business in the country. How far will this go in curbing?
Another obstacle coming.
The network is really bad.
Can you hear me, Gessie?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hello, Gessie, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me? All right, we'll try to reconnect, but at this point in time, the essay to the president on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, he revealed this in a statement titled President Tinubu to Qatari investors, report to me my officials who obstruct progress or ask for bribes. No deviation from path to prosperity. We've seen Nigeria fighting and grappling with issues of corruption here and there. How far will this statement go in curbing corruption? Mr. Rufai. All right, the president told Qatari investors that Africa's largest economy and its systems were being reformed and upgraded. Talking about Nigeria. Welcome back, Rufai.
So, as I was saying, I think President Tinubu should watch it, because by saying that he had gone ahead to indict his cabinet and telling people in advance in Qatar that if they ask for bribe, call me. So are you saying that your people are going to ask for bribe? What you are supposed to do is just to keep selling your country. That's just it. So I don't think it's right for him to go ahead and say that. Unless he should be careful. That's just it.
Is it possible that there was a conversation about talking about the integrity of the officials, maybe that we're not privy to, and then the president went ahead to make that statement?
I do not think so. I think it's part of his salesmanship, but sometimes he went overboard. You shouldn't say that. Every country in the world has their own level of corruption. But do you ever hear Joe Biden come and say, oh, come and invest in America? If there's any corrupt person trying to collect money from you, let us know. No, that's not sales. So we should be careful.
All right. Yesterday, Sunday morning, 7 a.m., there were videos of a particular warehouse that was looted, and we're beginning to talk about the fact that the hardship is biting, the back of Nigerians. And there were reports that this particular warehouse belongs to NEMA, but NEMA have come out to refute those reports, saying it doesn't belong to us. But we've beefed up security at our own warehouses in case people are having getting ideas to go loot. Mr. Rufai, we know that once there's hunger, crime rates go up. Already, we are battling insecurity at different fronts. Is the police even ready for the level of criminality that is equally proportional to hunger?
My sister, I don't think they are, and that's why we should look at these matters deeply. I don't think they are. And I don't think they are prepared enough to be able to account for this level of hunger. And that's why we should be very in this country. And that's why all the things government needs to do for the citizens, please, I beg government, do it for the citizens. Help them. Help them get back on their feet. Please. Because this is sad. You also heard of the case of a driver that parked his truck with food and I went to pray before he came. Good dogs are taking over. Let's be careful.
All right, CSOs are warning against unwarranted attack on IGP camps, and they're citing series of coordinated media attacks on the person and the office of the IGP and all that. And they're saying, in a press release in Abuja over the weekend, they talked about, criminal and unpatriotic to drag the IGP in the mud and tarnish his hard-earned professional reputation with the hope of ousting him out of office. This is still looking at just how he's doing his job as the IGP. What exactly is your take on this?
I mean, let's see how that pans out. The IGP has a right to be able to defend himself if there are any allegations against him that are untoward. So, I think this CSO are part of those that are defending him. So let's see how all of this pans out. Most importantly, the IGP will do his job properly and ensure that we have an end to the insecurity in the country. That I have not seen a lot of.
All right, Mr. Rufai, I really want to focus on police today because it's really important that we understand whose at fault or whose responsibility it is to do something. So we've been hearing reports of fake currencies floating around, in the country at the moment, still talking about hunger, criminality going up. They are directly proportional. So at this point in time, who can we even hold responsible for something like this? If you're having a situation where a former soldier, was indicted in this, him and his wife were arrested for moving fake and producing fake currencies.
It still has to be the authorities. It still has to be the authorities, and the complicity of the authorities is something we should watch. Look at the recent investigation done about the customs. Look at other investigative report done about it. We need to be able to sanitize our forces, and if we're not doing that, we're not ready. We're not ready, and that's it. We're not ready. We're not ready, and that's it.
All right. Katsina residents are eyeing a 50 million naira bounty if they submit tips on wanted bandits. This is what the police command said on Sunday, that it was impressed with the response it was receiving from residents over the request for information on 2 bandits kingpin, that have been terrorizing that area. In a moment, 50 million naira bounty. Interesting, really interesting, looking at the fact that Nigerians are hungry at this point, and some of the residents in that area live with these individuals. Would it be enough incentive to give up information on these wanted bandits?
Yes, it's enough incentive, and I think they should take it head on, and the people should be able to give that information on, because we must rid this country of banditry and crime and criminality. And if we are not ready to do that, we are not ready to move anywhere as a country. But also, secondly, people don't give information because they are afraid that the security authorities will rat them out. Exactly. So the question is, how would you protect the integrity of the information you get, and how will police protect those people, or the security agency protect them? That's the question we should ask.
It's interesting that you raised that, because I was going to go to the whistleblowing policy in Nigeria. Just how far we saw it, pick up a little bit during the Muhammadu Buhari's administration, and then all of a sudden it went cold. This issue of whistleblowing, the policy protecting the whistleblower, giving them the monies that a certain percentage of the money.
But what caused the policy to fail? Because when the man whistleblew and they got some money, they didn't want to give him his share. So that just pushed a lot of people out of it, and people were not ready any longer.
So what can we even do at this point? Because you put an amount of money, you say you're going to do this, you say you're going to do that.
Integrity. The problem is government is not trusted again. That's why all these problems are happening. Government should have integrity.
All right. There's a headline here talking about high cost of government, low outcomes. Some individuals have talked about the fact that this is in direct response to Omoyele Sowore. He had an interview yesterday talking on television, and he was talking about the fact that Nigerians are hungry, and yet you're telling them to be patient. During the Buhari's administration, during the Goodluck Jonathan's administration, it wasn't even up to 9 months when we saw Occupy Nigeria, when he sat on in that particular seat as president. It wasn't even up to 9 months until we saw Occupy Nigeria, and then right after that we saw different protests taking root, and there was no issue of protests not being allowed to happen from the government. Now we're seeing the president give a rebuttal to the NLC, saying that you should wait until 2027 if you want to get into politics. And yesterday Omoyele Sowore said that we're not seeing, even in the 9 months that you've been in office, we've not seen anything that you've done. Alex taking his time within the same amount of time to do something reasonable within his government. Now we're not seeing that done in the federal government.
Truth is right. Only yesterday I posted a video of a promise President Tinubu made around July last year to give businesses 75 billion at 9% interest rates. How many businesses have gotten that money now? I want them to come out to tell us if they've gotten that money. There are many promises that are not being fulfilled. But when you keep having that, you have distrust. That's what I keep saying. Distrust.
All right. right, pardon me for that breaking transmission. Hello, Rufai.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes. All right. So a retired judge yesterday said that politicians are responsible for the impunity in Nigeria. You know, we've had this ongoing back and forth between just how, independent we're seeing the judiciary being and, the impunity that we see in virtually all the sectors of the country. And Justice Ibrahim Buba, he's accused politicians and not the judiciary for being responsible for the prevailing impunity, in all the different sectors of the economy, that until the political class, the executive begins to obey the orders of the court, good governance would continue to elude the country. What exactly is your take on this?
But it's true. Most of the time it's the political class, aided by other people, civil servants and other value chain in the business. So, except we continue to fix those problems and ask you questions, we'll never get anywhere. And that's the sad reality.
All right, Mr. Rufai, thank you so much for joining us this morning. That's pretty much all the headlines we have at this point in time.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Bless you so much.
Thank you. Have yourself a wonderful day. All right, still worthy of mention in the news is veteran Nollywood actor Mr. Ibu, who died yesterday. He died on Saturday, March 2nd, in a hospital. Some of his fans, they went through social media to mourn the demise of Mr. Ibu, who had suffered health challenges leading to the amputation of his legs. And, his death now threw the entire Nollywood into mourning, coming just a day after the passing of Tolani Kadri, known by his stage name Sisi Kadri. Mr. Ibu was reportedly to have been ill in October 2023, and he was needing financial assistance, and now we're seeing that he died on Saturday. So that's a really, really sad one to note at this point in time. We'll take a break and pay some bills. When we come back, we'll be joined by Mr. Larry Ogwego to help us do justice to the headlines. Don't forget that the phone lines are open: 0700 010 961 961, 0700 010 961 961. Go ahead and call in and let's have a conversation about the headlines this morning. We're still live on YouTube, by the way. Voice of the People, Abuja. Voice of the People, Abuja. Join us right there. Good morning.
Baide.
Inakwana.
Good morning.
Ilahiala. Ekaro.
Obohia.
Good morning.
Mewo.
Edio. Tutuama. Keideo.
Good morning. Rise and shine. This is the morning ride. We have got an action-packed day ahead with headlines, sports, business, great conversation. Start your day right with VOP's Morning Ride. Weekdays from 5 a.m. Good morning. Good morning.
Are you traveling to Lagos and desire a perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you are traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop from the Lagos Airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So why wait? Book your stay today and experience the ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
Believe me. Whether your community likes it or not, Father Olumba has blessed you. Whether your family agrees or not,
Glory to God and to the Lamb. Beauty to the throne of eternity.
Brotherhood of the Cross and Star presents the Everlasting Gospel Movement on Radio every Saturday, 6 to 7 p.m. on 96.1 FM. Tune in and be blessed. Thank you, Father.
Adoration, adoration.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
I'm coming in.
Now, you can enjoy the original taste of premium American Romeo's Pizza. Juicy, just the way you like it. To order online from Guarimpa, call 090-8831-5908. Garki 090-8831-5906. And Lupe 090-9238-9861. Romeo's Pizza, the pizza champions.
Coming in hot, just like the
We have been serving you hot and fresh content on radio, and you have been loving it. Now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at BOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk shows, exclusive interviews, news, lifestyle, and more. It's all about you. BOP TV, show up, speak up.
As a sharp business owner, you know you need to advertise your business, right? Don't lie, you need the adverts. So what better platform to advertise than with VOP 96.1 FM? Our rates are friendly, our reach extensive. Take that bold step and advertise that business today. Give us a call on 080-766-06162 or visit our office at number 4 Ogbomosho Street, Romeo's Pizza Building, Area 8, Abuja.
You're welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. This is Frontpage Review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. Earlier, we're joined by Mr. El-Rufai who helped us do justice to some of the headlines that we had lined out today. But we'll be joined by Mr. Larry Ogwego. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you so much. How's your weekend?
It was great. Work, rest, reflection. It was a good weekend.
All right. One of the biggest story today is the looting of a warehouse in Abuja, and we saw a lot of Nigerians carrying cartons of grains, cartons of foodstuff moving around. Are we to expect more of this? Because it's a cause for concern. Are we to expect more? Because we know that once hunger comes, then a lot of Nigerians throw caution to the wind and do whatever they want.
It's very hard that Nigerians have been pushed to a stage where people become thieves, not because they want to steal, but because they are pushed by hunger to steal. It's that bad. You asked if we're going to expect more. If you look at the trajectory, if you look at the trends, you find out that this is not going to be the last. Of course, after the warehouse was looted, the Nema warehouse, they also went to a private warehouse where they were repaired. Not necessarily the same people, just hungry Nigerians. And we are aware that not too long ago, a truck was looted near Suleja. A truck that was stuck in traffic actually was attacked by people. Now that tells you that this whole thing is spontaneous. That is, it's like when a hungry person sees food and the person doesn't have this level of control, the person's brain is not functioning properly again. It's like metal and magnet. That is, they just got the food. They have reached a stage where they feel that if they don't do something drastic, they may die of hunger. And that is what is happening. So we are going to see more of this if the government does not do something quickly to cushion the pangs of hunger that Nigerians are living with. When a person is hungry, the person is irritable, the person is angry, and of course, the person doesn't have the capacity sometimes to think lucidly. And you need to think lucidly to be able to differentiate between right and wrong. You need to be able to differentiate between taking maybe food by force. That you need to be able to say, oh, this is not right. But the point is, when you are at that point where you are dying, and you see so much food stockpiled in a warehouse, most people at that point, they don't want to go more out. They are just thinking like, I need to be alive to think of right and wrong. So it's going to continue unless something dramatic is done to cushion the pangs of hunger. I'm not trying to say, oh, this is the right thing to do. I'm not trying to say people should loot warehouses, but I'm saying that a lot of people who are down there are not even thinking straight. They don't even understand why they shouldn't take the food. They think it's our food. I mean, Mama is owned by government. It's our government. It's our food. So why are they keeping the food when we are hungry? I mean, they're keeping it already there, and it's running cats and dogs now. So why shouldn't we take it? And that's the mentality that we have out there. So government should be able to figure out solutions, real solutions. For instance, we talked about releasing gains and all of that, and the people can't feel the impact. Assuming these guys who went to loot the Nema warehouse got the gains that we were talking about, they're not likely to have gone to loot the warehouse, and then they're actually searching for other warehouses. One of the warehouses they attacked, the private warehouses they attacked, they also looted during COVID. And it tells you that when people are extremely hungry, you cannot predict what they will do. And this looting is one of the things that are not even as dangerous as we think it could be. What I mean is, looting food is just one of the minimal responses we can get. When people really get hungry, remember some riots in Lagos, when they really get very hungry and they don't find food to loot, what will happen is that we may get to a stage where we cannot manage the hungry people, and then we may tend towards anarchy. So this food looting is a symptom of what may come if we don't find a quick solution to the hunger that people are feeling now.
All right. There's an article on leadership, on the leadership. It talks about high cost of governance and low outcome so far, and it made an expose into what the president has done, being both symbolic and structural actions to demonstrate his belief that the current high cost of governance is not sustainable. He talked about the executive order directing MDAs to slash the size of delegations for foreign and domestic trips. He also talked about the Steve Orosanye's report, but it's also talking about the fact that some of these are mostly symbolic, not necessarily effective in how well the government should be run. What exactly is your take on this?
I think we need to do things that are fundamental if we want to cut costs of governance. I think we need to do things that are fundamental. We need to change the way we think about efficiency. We need to change the way we think about effectiveness. The truth is that if you have the MDAs even reduced by 40%, and the 60% are still very extravagant, they can outspend the original number. That's the truth. We actually don't think these things through. It's not necessarily about the number. Yes, when we reduce the number, we can reduce certain money spent on maybe the ones that we merged or scrapped. But we're not asking ourselves, so what happens to the ones that are existing? What happens to the agencies and ministries and the person that we didn't scrap? And when we talk about saving money, if we are not able to articulate what we are saving and what we are going to use it for, we are just on example, we are wasting time. When El-Rufai made the report that we are talking about now, they estimated that we are going to save a certain amount of money in a certain number of years, close to 800 billion. It was clear, I think, between 2012 and 2015. There was a number they were targeting. They were empirical. They said, oh, if we can reduce this waste, we are going to save this amount. And there was still a gap to me, because if they don't plan to spend the savings properly, it could still be wasted. Like I've always said, saving money is not good enough unless you use the saved money for something productive. So we need to think all of these processes. It's not good enough to just say, oh, we are implementing a social report and we are bringing down the number of MDAs. I must also say that waste has become endemic in governance in Nigeria. That's the way we do things. Normally it's wasteful when it comes to governance. We deliberately and intentionally waste money. For instance, people woke up one day and bought tickets to travel from Abuja to an airport that does not exist in Kogi State. And till now, nobody has told us clearly how that happened. There are no consequences for waste. People consistently check into hotels in the same city to attend meetings. So I'm in Abuja, we have a workshop or conference in Abuja, and then I book hotel rooms for people in Abuja. So what are they doing with the hotel rooms? Why don't they just come to the venue from their homes? So we have a template for waste, and that template is driven by corruption, because when we book these hotel rooms, it's not the amount that is listed on the invoice that actually was paid. So all of these things mostly are driven by corruption. The waste is driven by corruption, and it's sad, and that is probably why our president went overboard and demarketed the country when he was telling Qatari investors that, oh, you don't have to give bribes. If they talk to you about giving money, let us know. It's sad, but that's not what we are discussing. I'm just saying that waste is something that is almost in our DNA at this time. So if we want to remove it, we have to go deeper than a Rosai report. We have to create fresh templates. I will tell you something that is fundamental. If our president can tell Qatari businessmen to tell him if somebody asks them to give money, why shouldn't he tell us? I mean, they tell us to bring money every day, small money and big money. He didn't tell us that. And he's telling foreigners that if they tell you, so let us even assume that 2 or 3 of them come for investment and they tell him, that will solve the problem. There's a high profile cases of corruption. And I've always said that until we actually begin to manage both our low hanging fruits and our high profile cases, we won't get anywhere. As long as policemen keep collecting 200 naira on the road in broad daylight and they give change and we consider it normal, we are not ready to fight corruption in high places, because it is the policeman who collects 200 naira at the checkpoint that will go to become DPO and collect 200,000 for bail, and then go to become commissioner and go to become IG, and then when it becomes IG, 17 billion will disappear. Remember the former IG that did play back then. And that is how it works. Small corruption grows into big corruption because there's a principle, and I want to end this particular conversation on this note. There's a principle that I've always advocated. Anything you plant grows if you do not uproot it. So when we allow small corruption in our citizens, it grows. because we do not uproot it. So I think there are two things we must look at here. Reducing the cost of governance is not just about cutting down on MDAs. There is a lot of waste going on. Gas purchases, supplies, procurements. Everywhere you look, you see corruption. Civil service who don't go to work, we call them ghost workers. That is, we have people who don't go to work and are paid salaries. There are so many waste pipelines that we have installed, loopholes that we have installed, and if we do not intentionally sit down to remove them, we cannot make progress, and we need a certain moral courage to remove them, because the people who install those loopholes will actually want them to stay. And remember that when we fight corruption, we were told corruption fights back. So it's not just about talking, it's a battle, it's a war. And you have to be ready for the fact that corruption will also fight back. And I'll be honest with you, from all the things I'm seeing now, we're not ready yet.
All right, since you went there, let's just go there already. The president had told the Qatari investors to report Nigerian officials demanding any form of bribe, and you said it's a demarketing strategy for Nigeria. Why do you think that?
It's not the duty of our president to tell the world that the people ask for money here. It is the duty of our president to fix the system that asks just for money. It's not his duty to go and tell them that if they ask you for money, tell me. No. It's his duty to tell the people who are asking for money, don't ask for money. If you ask for money, you lose your job, you'll be punished. It's a crime to ask for bribe in Nigeria, even if you have not received it.
So was this a slap in his own face by himself?
For me, I think he probably got carried away, in the course of trying to show how sincere he is, how determined, and say things he shouldn't say. That's just what I think. He shot himself in the foot without knowing it, because some of them who didn't even know how bad the situation is have been told that you'll be asked for money. And when you ask for money, tell me. And Mr. President forgot that they have a choice of investment destinations. If they want to invest in West African sub-region, they can go to Ghana. Where they are not likely to be asked for money as much as they ask for in Nigeria. So they have options. So if you are now putting me on notice that they may ask me for money in Nigeria, you're also telling me that I might as well go to a place where they won't ask me for money. I think it's better you position yourself. For instance, create a special desk. If you go to Rwanda for investment, you can do your business registration and everything you need to start a business in less than 3 days. That is, you can get the accommodation, get your tax issue sorted out, do your incorporation, and it's not academic, it's real. Not more than days, you are up on it. So what Mr. President would have done would have been to say, okay, let us set up a special center for investment purposes, so that if you come to this center, the likelihood of anybody asking for money is zero, and you can get support for everything, from business registration to accommodation to everything, legal support, everything you need. So rather than solve the problem, he went demarketing us, telling the world that we ask investors for money. It's sad. It's very sad, really, because like I said, we are not supposed to wash our dirty linen, like they've told us from kindergarten in public, and that's what Mr. President did, and I'm sure the world will be laughing. In any case, what I think is most important, if we want to really analyze that mistake, is that if Mr. President is zealous about stopping corruption, about stopping people who ask us for money, he should tell us. I mean, if Mr. President wants to stop corruption or minimize it in Nigeria, people like me and you there in the rest of the people can actually set up a system that will give him feedback. I've severally set up systems that are supposed to give government feedback on corruption, especially in the areas of policing and some other areas. But sometimes they actually behave as if they are not hearing you. That is, you set up the system, you give them the feedback, and they pretend that they are not hearing what you're saying. I think Mr. Prince should first of all tell us we are the people who are asking for the money. We're also the people who are feeling the pain of the corruption. So you should tell us, Nigerians, if somebody asks you for money, whether it's at a checkpoint, in an office, anywhere at all, then let us know so we can deal with it. Sorry, but I think I'm overflowing this, but there's one more point I want to make. We live in a country where if you want to get a driver's license, they will ask you for money, and if you don't give the money, you won't get it. It took me 2 years to get driver's license because I refused to give money. 2 full years in Nigeria. I said I won't give you any bribe. It took me 2 years. And this is a low-hanging fruit. Mr. President, tell us. We will tell you. If you go to get license and they ask you for money, tell me. Then you should go to get international passport. Well, there's noise going on. But I've asked questions. That noise is still not working. So there are limits. And Mr. President can tell us. And when we begin to uproot all of those very bad things, then we can probably over time handle the monsters. But a situation where corruption is part of life in Nigeria, the country where people who don't want to do corruption are forced to do it because you can't get official documents without being corrupt, and you are telling us to say, oh, that if foreign investors come, we shouldn't ask them for money. We will ask every other person for money. That's not going to work.
Mr. Larry, in light of our image, Nigeria's image, because this is something that has deteriorated over time. The moment you speak to any international and you mention your country, you say Nigeria, there's a certain disregard, there's a certain disrespect that ensues right after you say, oh, I'm Nigerian, because of what outside the country, what they view us as. Nigerians are they're fraudulent in nature, the politicians are this and that, get away with different things. So the image of Nigerians have been battered to a certain extent. The image of Nigeria as a whole has been flogged and overflogged and wounded to a point where we need a revival at that point. But the question now is, how far have we seen politicians in improving the image of Nigeria? Because as far as we're concerned, they're the ones with the power, the opportunity to do most of that. Nigerians, well-meaning Nigerians, you see, whether in Nollywood, in the entertainment industry, whether it's in the tech industry, you're seeing Nigerians making strides towards improving the image of the country. But time and time again, we're seeing politicians drag Nigeria's name through the mud. So how far have we really seen what the politicians do, improve on the image of Nigeria?
I agree with you that our politicians are not doing well. They have damaged our image and our reputation terribly through their actions and inactions. I mean, we have seen politicians grant state pardon to convicted colleagues for no reason other than the fact that they are their cronies. So a person steals billions of naira from the state, the person is sent to jail, and after a few months, a few years, you tell the person to go home, go and see no more. And then another person steals a bag of rice. Some people just after the looting because the person is hungry, and the person is not remembered by the state to get a pardon even after the person becomes gone again in prison. So we have politicians who have made us look very bad on the international scene. Of course, we know about the Halliburton scandal. We have a whole lot of scandals. However, there's a place I disagree with you. It's not the exclusive job of politicians to make the image of Nigeria work. The truth is that the politicians are role models. If they behave well and they put a system in place where all of us play by the same rules, whether you're a politician or not, whether you're a leader or not, the country will be better for it. We live in a country where, because of the bad example set by the leaders, the followers have also become very bad in the way they behave. I can tell you for free that we are bigger ambassadors than our leaders. I will explain. You may have an ambassador in a country that is not a law-abiding ambassador who may go and park on a no parking sign because he has immunity. That is, he doesn't have to pay the ticket. That is one person. He can only do so much damage. But when you have thousands of Nigerians who live in that community, who emulate that politician who is not doing well, that ambassador who is not doing well, then we have a bigger problem. Now, why am I saying this? Because we observe ourselves of these challenges, and then we blame the politicians. We need to place the blame where it belongs. The politicians have their share of the blame. We have our share of the blame. We shouldn't emulate them. The reason they are succeeding in hoodwinking us and deceiving us is because we are trying to be like them. We envy their convoy. We envy their larger than life lifestyle. We envy their laziness, people who make money without working. We envy a lifestyle that we should actually complain about and stop. And so I think we need to just consciously tell ourselves the truth. The politicians are not doing well. And a lot of the citizens are not also doing well because they want to be like politicians. That is why you have thugs. That is why you have people who rig elections for them. That is why you have primaries that cannot hold. That is why a lot of people are aspiring to be politicians. So I agree with you that the politicians are not doing well. They have painted us black on the international stage. But the truth also is that we are carrying the same brush and we are painting ourselves black. It's not just about politicians. It's also about the citizens. Sorry, I will also tell you my story. I spoke at a conference in South Africa, and one question kept coming back to me. They were asking me the same question repeatedly. With people like you in Nigeria, why is Nigeria the way it is? So the question became, we think you are intelligent, you have some degree of integrity, you have spoken well, we have learned from you, so why is Nigeria the way it is? So to that extent, I was a good ambassador on that particular day, and I did well. And when I was going for that conference, they stopped me at the airport, and like you said, they don't just look at us with disdain. Actually, they respect Nigerians, but they look at us with suspicion. That's the expression, with suspicion. So the man told me to stand aside, and I asked him why. I said, why? I mean, I actually told him that they are profiling Nigerians. The fact that I have a green passport doesn't mean that I have bad intentions. I'm coming here to speak at a conference in your country. And the man looked at me, asked me the conference I told him, he said, I'm sorry. Now, he looked at me with suspicion because I'm a Nigerian. It was my duty to demonstrate to him that I'm not one of those Nigerians. I said it boldly. So the fact that we are all Nigerians doesn't mean that we all behave alike. We have Nigerians who are making contributions in your country. We also have Nigerians who are damaging things in your country, just like you have your own citizens that are contributing and those who are damaging. So I think we need to be conscious of the fact that citizens can play a critical role in national transformation when the leaders fail. If the leaders fail to lead, the citizens should rise up to the occasion and create a new crop of leaders for themselves. So we shouldn't just wait for them and complain that they're painting us black. What are we painting ourselves? Are we really painting ourselves white? The answer is no. A lot of us are still painting ourselves black. However, a lot of Nigerians are doing very well. The only difference between the politicians and the people is that a critical mass of the politicians paint us black. That is, in fact, more than 90% in my opinion. Because even when they allow you to come into that sphere, they teach you how to paint us black. They teach you how to behave as a politician. You drop your morals. You are supposed to adapt to the political behavior in Nigeria. But a lot of us work hard to make Nigeria look good. And what do we get in return? Nothing but a problem. I mean, if you are hard working in Nigeria, you are seen as a lodo, you are seen as being dumb. You are supposed to be smart. It's either you join politics or you join fraud or you just make the money. Nobody cares how you make it. Just make it so that you can have your own convoy. And you can have your own security like the politicians. Just go and check it, Jesse. Everybody is aspiring to live like the politicians, apart from the fear for shooting that the way to go. But we want to have convoys, we want to have security details, including fosters, we want to have large mansions, I mean, in which people don't live in, and we want to leave our cars running, even when nobody is moving in the car, because we want the car to be cool when we come back into it. These are the lifestyle that I don't possess. Very extravagant people, and we could be like them, unfortunately. But most of us are still working hard to change the narrative. I think that's the real story. The politicians are not doing well. The citizens also should stop trying to. We should do better.
All right, let's move on from that into oil theft and the entire oil sector. A couple of days ago, Tompolo got an award from NUJ, and upon receiving that award, he talked about the fact that he's vowing to end crude oil theft in Nigeria. What the government hasn't been successful in doing. We're seeing an individual who has made a statement that he will end crude oil theft within the Niger Delta. He said during the award, he said that that the only thing that has been sustaining this country is oil and gas, and the thing is here in Nigeria, and we want to be part of that business, but you cannot just come and collect what you want and go away without involving us, the Niger Deltans. He said that he vows to end the reign of oil thieves sabotaging oil operations in the region as part of the efforts to revamp the nation's ailing economy. He said he will do anything within his power to ensure that oil production increases for the country to have funds to grow the economy. Question now is, on what authority does this individual have to make such very strong promises to Nigerians, promises that the NNPCL has not been able to fulfill, the federal government has been unable to fulfill, the Navy, even though we're seeing more headlines talking about Navy sees this particular Ghanaian ship that has been fingered in one issue of oil theft or the other. We're now seeing information, especially regards the Navy. But on what authority does this individual have to make such a statement?
He's making the statement on the authority given to him by the same federal government that couldn't do the job. That's the truth. Yes, because he was contracted and paid to do the job. And it's a shame, it's a big shame on the Nigerian security architecture that you need a private contractor to secure your national assets. Now the private contractor is saying that I'm securing the assets with the cooperation of the military. So the question becomes, why didn't the military secure the infrastructure? One word, the answer is corruption. The person who was making that statement is being paid an arm and a leg to protect the pipelines and stop oil stealing and vandalization and all of that. When you look at the history of the contractor and you look at his involvement in the oil sector, you look at this whole transaction as something that is not particularly good for the image of Nigeria. I have a problem of it, and you decided to pacify the people who create the problem so that you have a problem. We need to rise above that kind of thinking. If we want to build a nation, one of the things the nation should be able to do is to protect itself. The nation should have a monopoly of violence. The nation should have a monopoly of enforcing law and order. When a nation begins to subcontract its security to individuals and companies, then it means that our nationhood is actually in question. And on a serious note, I don't think it's appropriate, my personal opinion, I don't think it's appropriate for NUJ to carry an award with all of its executives to a person's house to present the award there. Sometimes I wonder why the man doesn't come out. I don't have anything against him, but I wonder, why not give an award when we give others awards and all of that? It makes you begin to wonder, is it a Nigerian thing? Was somebody expecting to be rewarded for taking the award to his home? But we need to understand that NUJ is one of the most reliable watchdogs we're supposed to have in Nigeria. I mean, the journalists are professionals who are actually listed in the constitution. That is, you have the practice of journalism as one of the tools recognized by the constitution that they're supposed to hold government accountable, and they're supposed to hold leaders accountable. They should be above board. They should carry themselves with some kind of respect and dignity. I think it's not particularly inspiring to lose the executives and the leaders of that highly placed body to a person's home. Because if you want to use that standard, there are many other Nigerians that, in my opinion, are doing greater things for Nigeria. So you should also go to their homes to give them awards. When we want to give awards, we bring people who are worthy to come to the venue and receive awards, not we carry awards to their homes and give them awards. I think I personally do not subscribe to that. They may have reasons for doing that, but that's my take on that. So I think we need to begin to get to that point where Nigeria should be able to take care of its security needs. If we still continue subcontracting and outsourcing security of national assets, then it means we are not yet ready to be a country. We are not.
All right, we've got CSOs in Nigeria calling on the president to shun politics and address the current hardship and hunger in the country. What could be the problem at this point? Is it that the president isn't aware completely of just how bad the situation has gotten? Is there a possibility there somewhere that he's not aware of just how bad it's gotten? You know, it's one thing to be aware that Nigerians are hungry, or there's one issue or the other, but is he aware just how bad it has gotten?
I think the president is suffering from executive isolation syndrome. He is the president of the nation. He doesn't buy petrol. He doesn't buy diesel for his generators. He doesn't maintain his vehicles. He doesn't buy food. He doesn't buy toiletries. He doesn't buy clothing. He doesn't buy anything. And he relies on aides to give him information on what is happening in Nigeria. He doesn't drive through slums. He doesn't even experience traffic jams when we queue for petrol and we block the roads. All those things are cleared for him to pass. So he relies on information from the people who are supposed to give him feedback. And guess what? They tell him that all is well, that it's just your political detractors who are making noise, who are instigating them to riot, who are instigating them to demonstrate and say they're hungry. It's your political detractors. And based on the feedback he's getting, he's also behaving as if everything is politics. It's difficult for a typical Nigerian governor or president to feel what we feel. I can tell you authoritatively, because I've had the privilege of being not too far away from some of these politicians, but I'm also very, very close to the ordinary persons because I'm one of them. Why do I say so? If you see the way they are detached, it takes a few months to actually move from being a Nigerian to being a governor. I'm not talking about president, to governor who is totally detached from the reality. Because after some time you forget. Your memory can last for so long. You forget, you're ensconced. You are like a fetus in a womb. The fetus is totally protected from the vagaries of the outside world. The mother feeds the fetus everything the fetus needs. The fetus even has a shock absorber called amniotic fluid that protects it from shock outside. That's how our governors and presidents are. They're totally protected from the things that affect us, from things that deal with us. So to that extent, they don't really understand that's a problem. That's the truth. I don't think President Bola Tinubu understands that Nigerians are hungry. We have not lacked food. You now, you see that I'm talking with. Sometimes I'm sure you'll be wondering, so how is it that a person will want to eat food and a person won't find food to eat? You know, if you have not been there, you may find it difficult to understand how it works. So for people like Bola Tinubu, who especially is told by his aides and political sycophants around him that, oh, he's the Labour Party, he's the PDP, he's the NLC, they don't want to wait until 2027. They want to take your seat now, that they are all the people causing this trouble. Because they are giving him fake feedback, and he doesn't have his own independent source of getting feedback, and he doesn't actually want to know what is happening to the people that he's leading. That is why we have this situation, and it's very bad. It's very, very bad. We need to get to that point where our leaders must find ways of engaging the people, of getting to feel the pulse of the people. A situation where they're totally ensconced and totally protected from everything that happens in Nigeria. I mean, the man doesn't have to wait at the airport to board a flight. His plane doesn't have to wait to take off. They clear the airspace for him to take off. They also clear the airspace for him to land. So he's totally removed from the things that challenge us. And the psychophants won't tell him the truth. Because if they tell him the truth, some of them will be indicted. He will realize that some of them are not doing their jobs well enough. So that's the dilemma we have. How do we reach a president who is usually so far away from the people that he doesn't see any evil, he doesn't hear any evil, of course, he doesn't feel any evil? That's the dilemma. But we have to actually look for those leaders who will have their head in the cloud, maybe, but their feet on the ground, who will find a way of relating with us, who will find a way of getting feedback. I think that is very important. Unfortunately, our present proper politicians, not only Mr. President, they don't have it. They're too far away from us to feel what we feel, and because of that, they don't show any empathy. They don't understand that we are really hungry and angry.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Larry, for joining us for this conversation this morning.
Yeah, I thank God for the privilege. I also hope that one day, just one day, our citizens will stop condoning the kind of leadership we have, because I've always said that whatever you condone, you cannot change. We have to rise above condoning this kind of leadership so that you can change it.
All right. Thank you so much, and have yourself a good day.
Yeah, you too. Have it.
All right, to you listening, thank you so much for joining the conversation this morning. Don't forget, you can always call 0700 010 961 961. It doubles as our WhatsApp line, 0700 010 961 961. We're also live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. Coming up at 8:30 is Sports Bit. Keep it locked right here. My name is Gesire Agua. Good morning.
Do you